Hey gang, this is Mike with my Real Estate Dojo, and today's lesson is about one of the major negotiation mistakes my students do over and over. So let's dive in and get started. The negotiation mistake that I see all of my students do is that when they're negotiating with the seller, in their mind, for some reason they think negotiation is about positioning yourself like an opposite direction. Here's the seller, here's me, let's go ahead and debate about it, or let me prove them right, which never works, guys. The way I do it is that this is the seller, this is me, I move in the same direction as the seller, which means that I become the seller's friend, I build rapport with them. Even if I have objections with what the seller is saying. Let me give you an example. If I tell the seller, Mr. Seller, your house doesn't have equity, and the seller says, yes, my house does have equity, what I say is, sure, okay, got it. I use neutral words that does not represent my objection to the seller. Even though I'm on this side of the fence and the seller's over here, I'm using words in the middle to neutralize it, to allow me to get to the seller's side, okay? So, on the other hand, a lot of my students, they tell the seller, hey, Mr. Seller, your house doesn't have equity, and the seller says, my house does have equity. My students are like, no, it doesn't, look at the comps, blah, 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 and trying to argue or try to debate or try to prove their point, which in one sense, the more you push, the more the seller pushes back, which you don't want to do that, okay? What you want to do is, hey, Mr. Seller, your house doesn't have equity. The seller says, it does have equity. You say, okay, sure, and then you go into more open-ended questions, probing questions, okay? What I do is I use this tactic called detachment, and I have a video about that. So look at my video about how to detach the seller from their problem so you could actually get the deal. But this video is about using neutral words. Let me break it down one more time. 3 types of words. You can use words that mean that you're against the seller. You can use words that are neutral, and you can use words that are, hey, I'm with you, seller, I agree with you. So for example, if you tell the seller your house doesn't have equity and the seller says, yes, my house has equity, you can use words as, well, no, Mr. Seller, on the left-hand side, I have CMAs or I have other households that justify that what I'm saying is correct, which I don't recommend using that strategy, where a majority of my students do. The next strategy or words you can use is called neutral words, is what I recommend, is if the seller tells you, well, my house has a lot of equity, you can just say, hey, sure, okay, and move on. One of the words, sure or okay, don't use both of them together. And be really sincere about it. Don't say sure like you're BSing them. Say sure, like, you know, you're almost agreeing with them, but you're really not agreeing with them. You're just neutral. You're not saying I agree or I disagree. Just saying you acknowledge that. Just say sure, okay? And then the third type of words is when you actually agree or acknowledge the seller that he or she is right, okay? So the 2 words structure that I want you to use is the neutral ones. If you disagree, and if you agree with them, let them know you agree with them. Do not use words that are against the grain, that position you at one side and the seller at the other side, because that's not how you create win-win situations, guys. And you're never going to be able to get the deal if you're on one side and the seller's on the other side. What you want to do is come together and be one and create a win-win situation for the seller and for both of you guys to be able to make money and solve the seller's problem, whatever that may be. Okay, guys? If you have any questions, leave a comment. If you like these videos, please subscribe, please share, please like. I'll talk to you later again. Go out there, take massive action. Have a great day.